All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Power of Positivity, Strategies to Grow Gratitude, Empathy, Kindness, and Compassion. My name is Rebecca Campbell. I'm a psychotherapist and director of therapy services at Sasko River Center. I'm joined, I'll let Allie introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Allie Muzzio. I'm an occupational therapist, and I feel very grateful to be presenting with Rebecca today on this very important and meaningful topic.
Ditto to Allie. So together, Allie and I were excited to explore practical strategies for cultivating gratitude, empathy, compassion, and kindness within your family. We're going to share some research and some simple, enjoyable activities you can try at home. Our aim is to offer insights and tips to make family connections stronger and the holiday season smoother. I want to mention, though, that if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A. And Allie and I will monitor them throughout the presentation, and we'll definitely check them after each slide at least. So regardless what you celebrate, if you celebrate, these times can be filled with moments of joy and connecting memories. And they can also be fraught with difficulty negotiating family dynamics as we flex to unstructured days and often amped up expectations of our own, as well as the needs of others with extended family coming around, grown children coming home for the holidays and break. It's also worth noting that the current political climate can impact relationship dynamics. Our landscapes are always changing and shifting both in and outside of our homes as it is, but this is really something to be aware of this season. Allie and I would like to talk about all this and how we can use these moments as opportunities to grow individually and within the family as a family. So Allie, first slide, please. We mentioned these 4 qualities: gratitude, empathy, kindness, and compassion as ways of being in our talk, as we feel their practice really promotes positivity within oneself. We know when we practice behaviors that encourage positive feelings about ourselves, we're more likely to repeat those behaviors, thereby generating more positivity, which breeds positive self-concept, self-confidence, ultimately positive mood and mental health for you and hopefully those around you. Specifically, in speaking of these terms, demonstrating the ability to understand and share feelings of another, being empathy, so critical during this time of year as we tune into the needs of others outside of ourselves. For example, someone might be having an entirely different experience this season due to an adjustment in life, a loss, a move. So turning into others' emotional experience is going to connection and increase your connection with others and yourself. Kindness, being friendly and generous in the day-to-day, in the home, and in the community. This generates moments that build into your positive sense of purpose. And studies show that having a positive sense of purpose promotes positive mental health outcomes. The expression of concern for the misfortune of others, being compassion, is also so imperative in the practice of giving back and being purposeful. It's also really important to practice compassion for yourself during this time, especially as you navigate these changing times. And I'll be talking about that more later in our presentation. Finally, also having gratitude, being thankful for how we support ourselves and what we have in our lives contributes to our sense of positivity. Now, how do acting in these ways of gratitude, empathy, kindness, and compassion actually change how we think, feel, and behave? Well, Allie is going to take a deeper dive into gratitude, but first I want to mention quickly these things called mirror neurons, which are these cool neurons that we have in our brains. They are special brain cells that help us understand and connect with others by mirroring, hence the term mirror neuron, their actions or emotions. For example, when you see someone smile, your brain automatically reacts as if you're smiling too. Like this actually happens. You'll probably notice that next time you're smiling. Be aware of that. When somebody else smiles, you tend to smile too, and you understand what that feels like, and you start to feel the happiness that that person is mirroring back to you. And these neurons are thought to play a big role in things like empathy and learning by imitation. So if you practice kindness, compassion, empathy, and gratitude, and someone smiles, they're probably feeling valued, and you'll be feeling valued as well. Now I'll turn it over to Allie, who's going to speak more to the science behind gratitude.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I'm just making sure, is my screen sharing, my screen still being shared?
Yes, we have the
Okay,
gratitude slide up.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So thank you, Rebecca, for helping us understand the importance of those core qualities. And now that we've discussed why gratitude, empathy, kindness, and compassion are so essential, let's take a closer look at the science behind gratitude and how it can truly impact our family dynamics. And so gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise. It is actually a powerful tool for well-being with measurable effects on the brain and our mental health. As an occupational therapist, I often consider how even small habits or even intentional routines like practicing gratitude can reshape our thought patterns and support our emotional resilience. So, like I said, let's dive into some science. So, when we do practice gratitude, it activates regions in our brain tied to our feel-good chemicals, which includes dopamine and serotonin. This release creates positive reinforcement, making it easier to focus on positive experiences and helping us approach daily interactions with more joy. Studies have shown that regular gratitude practice builds stronger neural pathways, meaning over time, we're training our brain to find the good, even in challenging moments. So now let's talk about neuroplasticity. This is the brain's amazing ability to adapt and reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Think of it like a path in the forest. The more that you walk it, the clearer and easier it becomes to find. Similarly, by practicing gratitude consistently, we're strengthening those pathways, making it easier for the brain to recognize and remember positive experiences. And so over time, this reinforces a mindset that naturally looks for things to be thankful for, even when life is stressful or overwhelming, like this holiday season. So for families, this means that gratitude can actually help rewire some of our stress responses. Research reveals that gratitude can improve mental health by reducing anxiety and promoting positive emotions. For example, consistent gratitude practices are linked to better sleep, which is crucial for our emotional regulation across all ages. This has significant implications, especially for our children and teens who may be navigating school stress or social pressures. And for us adults, gratitude helps buffer against stress, fostering a sense of calm and connection that can diffuse tension. And so to illustrate this, consider how the brain's neuroplasticity allows it to adapt. Regular gratitude exercises, like sharing something positive about the day or just acknowledging someone's efforts, can actively strengthen these pathways, these new pathways, may I say. Just as we strengthen our muscles in the gym, gratitude can build mental and emotional resilience over time. And so the benefits don't stop there. In one occupational study, middle school students practicing gratitude reported higher self-esteem, reduced feelings of loneliness, and greater mental health. And while these results focus on younger people, adults experience similar impacts as gratitude strengthens community bonds and reduces isolation. So today, as we discuss how to incorporate gratitude into our daily routines, think of it as a gradual but transformative experience. These small moments of gratitude are seeds that help cultivate a family culture of warmth and appreciation, grounded in positive mental health. And so now that we've explored the science behind gratitude and its profound impact on our well-being, we know that it's not just about understanding the benefits, it's about putting it into practice. And so with that in mind, Rebecca is going to guide us through some practical, actionable strategies that you can use to nurture these qualities into your family.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you.
So what you can do, your mood and mindset matters. I think, Allie, I think there's one more part of the slide. There, get resourced. Your mood and mindset matters. I like to say get resourced. which means what are the resources that you need to get through your day? Do you know what you need to feel capable and grounded and face your days? And now maybe step that up and multiply that as you head into the unstructured time of the holiday season. So what do you actually need? Let's talk about that. Your resources, sleep. How much sleep do you need? What does that look like? Do you have a sleep routine? Check. Food. Don't forget the food. Sometimes we're running around, we're doing all these things, we forget to eat. You wonder why you might have a headache. You wonder why, your mood might be off. Make sure to pack snacks. I always pack snacks. People laugh at me sometimes, but it really helps me stay resourced. Water, stay hydrated. They say that by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Some laughter, some levity. You're going to be probably, odds are, if you're on this webinar, you're somebody that's probably taking charge of your family. Maybe you're making decisions. Maybe you're an organizer. You're already anticipating what you can do to be a more active part of your family positivity initiative. And so maybe you need some levity. Maybe you need to spend some time with a friend or have a phone call with somebody or play with your pet, something that's going to give you levity throughout the day. Movement, exercise. If you don't have time for your exercise class, I like to say, get out of your house and out of your head, go for a walk, even just run up and down your stairs a few times. Self-care, self-care routines. Which ones of those can you really keep? Can you really protect during the holiday season? Even getting dressed. I mean, I think a lot of people can feel really cozy staying in their PJs all day, but then sometimes I think people can also feel that they're not as productive. They don't feel as purposeful. They kind of connect with getting dressed into day clothes and starting their day as feeling like they're in their routine, which again, routines can really matter for people's mental health. And to that end, let's talk about routines, flexible and not flexible. As we head into the holiday season, everybody's so excited. We don't have to go to school. We have vacation from work, and structure and anticipating the known can be really grounding. I mean, it's super fun to have no plans and no demands and be flexible, but routines are really important for structure. So try to keep some. Whether that's the order that your bedtime routine flows, or your morning walk, or when you have your first cup of coffee, those are really necessary building blocks for determining your day. As the structure shifts, it'll be important, and it's so personal. It's different for everybody. This is also important for your family members and your family system as a whole. As you're on this webinar collecting information, I would imagine you're going to want to take it back to your people, disseminate the information. Maybe you have a family meeting. Maybe you talk about what the next, months look like on the weekends or as you flow into time off, who's doing what and going where, giving people a voice to also chime in to see what their needs might be. Some families have a whiteboard, keep that going. Or maybe you have a shared family calendar, keep that going as well. This is especially important for younger children who really look to the adults for guidance and rely on us a lot for routines to feel safe. We hear sometimes parents will report going into the summertime or going into the holiday, oh my gosh, my child is really having a hard time flowing and adjusting and transitioning. Well, it's because maybe they don't know what they're transitioning to. We forget these little ones have only been on this earth for, as a handful of years versus adults that have had decades to understand how to flex and change to moving situations. So anticipating what his schedules will look like can help you feel more grounded. And odds are you are as well. And those of you who have attended any of our Family Center webinars know, as a family, we are a system of feedback loops, and everyone plays a role with the way the system operates. So let's jump to screens. Adjust your expectations during the holidays. And I'm not even just talking about kids and their screen times. I'm talking about the adults and how we use our screens, how we use social media. If you use social media, you might be seeing a lot of shiny, happy people promoting, celebrating weather. They're at parties or with family or on some lovely Caribbean beach vacation. How is that going to make you feel when you're in the trenches? It could be awesome. You could be so excited for your friends that they're out enjoying themselves and having these wonderful memories with their families. You could also be envious. You could also be resentful. And I'm not saying to avoid hard feelings. It's part of the gamut that we run. But if you're under-resourced, or if you just know that one more photo of your neighbor's perfect family photo is going to throw you into a sour mood, then don't check Instagram today, or unfollow someone whose political views might irritate you today. Maybe turn off all notifications, because the distraction is just one more unhelpful distraction for you to manage in your day. Or maybe the screen offers you photos or quotes or inspirations and promote positivity and grounding, because screens and social media really aren't awful all the time. It just depends on how we manage them. And again, that's such a very personal insight into yourself. So make a conscious effort to be mindful of how and how often you use social media, because remember, your mood and mindset matters to you and those around you. Regarding growth mindset, during this season, there will be times, as we've mentioned, when you or the people around you are not grateful or kind or compassionate or empathic or patient or mindful, when people exhibit their humanness and things don't go to plan and they express negativity and helplessness, and they might get stuck. They might get fixed in a negative mindset. This is what Carol Dweck wrote about in her seminal book, Mindset. She explains that a fixed mindset, kind of that negative stuck mindset, keeps you with really no place to go in pursuing a problem. I love this quote that I have next to growth mindset. A problem is a challenge you accept. And I'll speak later to examples of this, but I wanted just to mention that the growth mindset considers opportunities and perspectives when we're faced with a challenge. Because I mean, I get it, as humans, we are wired in our brains to anticipate the worst for survival. We had to be on high alert in the jungle to anticipate saber-toothed tigers or that surprise waterfall. So we do need to try really hard and harder to be positive and see the growth opportunities in our struggles. So an example of this, shifting from a fixed to a growth mindset, might be your child is getting frustrated, putting together the new toy, and they say, "This is too hard, I can't do this." This is a fixed mindset. This is too hard, I can't do this. A growth mindset might be, what am I missing? How can I do this differently? Again, I'll speak to this more in a little while, but fixed statements are hard to work with, and confronting them might be met with more fixed statements. But nothing changes if nothing changes, so we can try. Lastly, triggers. Triggers in your day, triggers in your general being as you negotiate these times. What throws you off? Exercise kindness for yourself and trying to ready yourself for what might come your way that's going to throw you off. So thinking about your potential triggers, are they maybe pieces of your routine that we were talking about that go by the wayside? Is it those posts on social media, walking past a messy room again when you're trying to keep the house clean? Or your adult child who's home from college and they're leaving the dishes in the sink after a late night snack? Or your teenager pushing against all your shiny, happy, positive messages we're discussing today? Or your toddler not excited to go to the grocery store with you once again? What are you going to do to move through these unanticipated moments, these triggers, to stay regulated in your day-to-day and checking in with yourself when things might not go away? For example, if your daughter misplaces her keys all the time when she comes home with the car, instead of, I'm not going to be able to deal if Sarah misplaces those keys again, instead of that, ready yourself and decide, you know what I'm going to do ahead of time? I'm going to tell her to text me when she gets home so that I know that she's putting her keys in the basket. That's one less thing that you have to worry about that you know is going to get in the way of your day. So be ready for it and manage how you might manage yourself. So what works for you then when you do get dysregulated? Can a deep breath help? A go-to grounding statement, walking away and getting some space. If you anticipate the triggers and how you're going to de-escalate yourself. You're one step ahead. A favorite statement of mine is, there's no problem here. Someone rubbed you the wrong way, but because it was the fourth person of the day, you feel yourself really tense up and become agitated, but there's no problem here. I just got looked at in the wrong direction. There's no problem here. Take a deep breath and move through it. To that end, as we talk about these potentially wonderful moments, it's also important to anticipate what others are capable. You're here, you're on these webinars, you're doing what you can to ready yourself for the holidays and become positive. But others might not be doing the same. Maybe they don't know to, they don't know how to, they don't have time to. Is that a trigger for you? A lot of times the primary caregivers tend to feel like they're doing all the work and they're not getting the respect or the empathy back for that. So get yourself resourced and understand and anticipate maybe what others' limitations could be as well. Now I will turn it over to Allie, who's going to discuss triggers from a sensory regulation perspective.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for that insight and mindset. So yes, now let's talk about the challenges that often arise during the holidays. Those triggers and roadblocks that can make things feel overwhelming. As an occupational therapist, we know that sensory triggers can really impact how we experience family gatherings. For some members, the holiday season is especially stressful because of the sensory overload. Between loud holiday music, the smells of food, crowded spaces, and even the unpredictability of social dynamics, there's a lot of stimulation happening all at once. And from an emotional perspective, these sensory triggers can impact stress, or these sensory inputs can trigger stress, anxiety, and frustration. It's really important to acknowledge that feeling overwhelmed is completely normal, especially during the holidays when routines are disrupted and expectations are sky high. But there are definitely ways to anticipate and manage these challenges by becoming more aware of our triggers, as Rebecca mentioned, and planning intentional responses. In our work as occupational therapists, we often talk about self-regulation and sensory integration. Self-regulation refers to our ability to manage emotional and sensory input. And sensory integration is the process of organizing sensory information in a way that allows us to respond appropriately. Understanding and anticipating what may trigger us during the holidays helps build a plan for how to manage those moments. So, for example, you can set aside a quiet downtime moments or creating a calm space, or what I like to call a cozy corner, where family members can retreat when things feel overwhelming, can be really helpful. Another thing to keep in mind is that the holidays often come with a lot of unspoken expectations about how things should be, right? But life rarely follows the perfect script. That's where gratitude can play a big role. Practicing gratitude allows us to adjust our expectations and focus on what's happening right now, what's going well, even if it's not perfect. This helps us stay grounded in the present and appreciate what we have, rather than feeling stressed over what we thought the holidays would look like, right? So gratitude can act as a bit of a reset button when we feel triggered by sensory overload or emotional stress. So if the noise or busyness of the holiday gathering starts to feel overwhelming, taking a moment to pause and acknowledge something positive, even something small, can really help bring us back into balance. This aligns with the sensory integrative approach that we use in OT, where we guide families to pause and focus on one positive sensory experience, like taking a deep breath, squeezing something, or feeling a grounding texture. That can reduce sensory overload and help our brains reset. Having simple tools like deep breathing, sensory breaks, or even just practicing gratitude can make huge differences. As parents, it's important to keep in mind the sensory needs of everybody in the family, and having flexibility and being mindful of these needs can really help someone feel more comfortable. That might mean setting up a quiet space, as I mentioned, for those who need it, or encouraging some solo activities to avoid sensory overload. And let's not forget that small adjustments can go a long way. In OT, we often emphasize that it's the little things that make a big impact. Identifying a few predictable activities or safe spaces at holiday gatherings can reduce that sense of unpredictability. Plus, incorporating gratitude as a family, even if it's just taking a moment to share one thing that everyone is grateful for, can help bring attention back to the positives even when things are chaotic. So, as we head into the holiday season, please do keep in mind that roadblocks and triggers are a natural part of the experience. Instead of feeling like you have to control everything, sometimes it's more about focusing on what's going well, even if it's just one small moment. With strategies to anticipate these triggers, adjust expectations, and integrate gratitude, we can make the holiday season more enjoyable and less stressful for everyone. And now, with that in mind, let's move forward and talk about some simple gratitude activities that can really help families stay grounded and connected. Well, Rebecca will walk us through some fun, easy ways to incorporate gratitude into our daily routines. And so, with that being said, I just wanted to say that gratitude is more than a practice to me. It's something that I truly believe in. And so, growing up in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, I witnessed firsthand the community's strength, kindness, and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy. The outpouring of support and countless initiatives around the world, all reminding us to be kind to yourself and others, truly shaped my view of how gratitude and kindness can help us move forward even through the hardest times. Even before the events that reshaped our community, my school, Sandy Hook Elementary, had a mantra that stuck with me from a very young age. Think you can, work hard, get smart, and be kind. It's incredible how those simple words stayed with us and how, in some of the toughest moments, they helped us focus on resilience, growth, and of course, kindness. And so today I carry those values forward, but both in my work and my personal life, helping families connect through gratitude and kindness. And so, in fact, our community, we've had a variety of projects and initiatives dedicated to spreading kindness. And one of the most visible is being a kindness tree mural that now graces one of our local schools, including these Be Kind murals that are also over our school district. It's a visual reminder of how even the smallest acts of kindness can create a ripple effect and transform the environment around us. It's such a beautiful testament to the power of gratitude and kindness, especially during difficult times, and it continues to inspire me in my work and practice. That's why I'm so passionate about today's discussion on gratitude. It's not just about the practice itself, it's about building moments of connection, reflection, and support for ourselves and others. So now that we've laid the foundation of why gratitude is so important, let's talk about how we can incorporate it into our everyday lives, especially during the holiday season. And so for younger children, gratitude activities should be fun, interactive, and appropriate for the developmental level. Here are some activities that can help children understand and express gratitude in a way that feels natural for them. And so, one second, I should just pull this up. One of my favorite activities for gratitude is the gratitude tree. So here's mine that I like. And then I say on the bottom, it says, "What are you grateful for today?" And so some things that a lot of the kids like to say are like sports, video games, friends and family. And then I wrote on here, but the post-it fell off, but doing what I love and loving what I do. But this simple and visual project is perfect for fostering gratitude over time. You can create a tree on a large sheet of paper or a poster board like I did, and leave the branches empty at first. Each day, have your child think of something that they are thankful for, whether, like I said, it's their favorite toy, their pet, or something they enjoyed that day, and draw it or write it on a leaf-shaped paper. Or you can just do it on a Post-it note like I did. And so what I want to emphasize is that as they add more leaves, the tree grows. And it serves as a visual reminder that gratitude is something that expands with practice. And so this activity also helps our young children understand the concept of gratitude in a concrete way. And so another wonderful activity is reading Bear Says Thanks books. These books can really help introduce children to gratitude through storytelling. In the book, Bear shares what he's thankful for with his friends, and the story revolves around themes of kindness and appreciation. So you can take it a step further by talking about these things with your children and what they're thankful for in their own lives, making it a meaningful discussion within the story. And so these kinds of books are great for younger children because they use simple language and have relatable scenarios that help them connect with the theme of gratitude. And so next up, one of my favorites also is a gratitude scavenger hunt. This is an active and fun way to help kids look for things that they are thankful for around them. You can make a list of things for your children to find, like something that makes you smile, or something that smells nice. I like that one. And let them explore the house or yard. Afterward, you can gather together and talk about items that they found and what makes them special. And so this activity not only encourages gratitude, but also mindfulness, because as they pay attention to the world around them, they're taking it in and being more present. And so lastly, a great way to combine mindfulness and gratitude is through I am affirmation breaths. So for example, I like to take a deep inhale and then exhale with something an I am affirmation, like I am loving, I am smart, I can do anything, I love myself. But you can also have affirmations like I'm thankful for my family or I am grateful for today. And so this practice helps children build self-awareness, calmness, and appreciation for themselves and the world around them. And the deep breathing helps children self-regulate, while the affirmation creates a positive mindset and focus on gratitude. And so these activities help children internalize gratitude in a way that's meaningful and easy for them to understand. They also encourage creativity, mindfulness, and positive thinking, all of which are wonderful tools for emotional growth. And now that we've covered some gratitude activities for younger children, let's take a look of how we can adjust these practices for our older children and teens, activities that tap into their growing cognitive abilities, and emotional awareness. And so for older children and teens, gratitude practices can evolve to reflect their growing cognitive skills and emotional depth. Activities for this age group can involve more self-reflection, journaling, and creative expression. And one activity I find particularly effective is Rose, Bud, and Thorn. This is a simple yet powerful exercise where our children can reflect on these three aspects of their day or week. So a rose is something that went well or brought them joy. A bud is something they're looking forward to, like a future event or opportunity. And a thorn is something that was difficult or challenging. But the key here is to reflect on what they learned from that experience. This activity helps older children and our teens practice emotional awareness and resilience, as they can recognize both the good and the tough moments in their day. It's also a great way to foster gratitude by focusing on growth and opportunities, even during difficult times. Another helpful activity for this age group is journaling. Journaling is a fantastic way for older children and our teens to process their feelings and express their gratitude. They can dedicate a few minutes of each of their day or week to write about things that they're thankful for, or they can take it a step further by exploring specific themes, such as gratitude for family, friends, or opportunities. So you can give them prompts like, what are 3 things you're thankful for today? Or how did someone show you kindness today? Can guide them and give them a focus of their writing. And so if your child enjoys more creative activities, you can also try Gratitude Sun, which is on the right of this screen. This activity involves drawing a sun with lines coming out from the center, each line representing something that they're thankful for. On the lines, they can write short phrases or words that reflect what they appreciate, which is anything from my best friend to being healthy or having a home, whatever is meaningful to them. This visual representation of gratitude encourages a creative outlet while also helping them internalize and reflect on what's meaningful in life. It's a great way to connect abstract gratitude to something more tangible and personal. And so lastly, one of the most impactful gratitude exercises for this age group, very similarly, is to encourage them to write thank you notes, whether it's for a gift, an act of kindness, or to show appreciation for someone in their life. Writing a note allows them to articulate their gratitude in a meaningful way. It also reinforces the idea that gratitude is about expressing and acknowledging efforts of others. And so, now that we've covered gratitude activities for older children and teens, including our younger children, I'll hand it over to Rebecca now to dive into some strategies for incorporating gratitude into our family routines, especially during this busy holiday season. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Allie. Really appreciate all of that, especially your personal story. I think that really also signifies to us how much work is done in the schools, most likely to foster kindness and empathy and the programming that goes on. So the fact that you're on this webinar to be present and see how we can thread it to the family, kind of for children and even adolescents that are still taking everything in, just to have that constant message coming at them in their different systems is just really helpful for growth and development and internalizing these really important concepts. So next slide, we'll see how to promote some positivity for the family. So in the center, there's a gratitude jar. So we could do different things with a gratitude jar. I always like to, when you're doing something about the family for the family, is get everybody in the family talking about what you're doing, and maybe you propose it and see what people think. But gratitude jar being something that can be used, you could start it now. It could be like a weekly thing, a monthly thing, but the idea is that by the end of the day, whether or not you choose that end of day time frame to be like dinner time or a meal time or bedtime, you already have some pieces of paper out and ready to get, to be written on, as something that they're grateful for, and put it in the gratitude jar, one per day. And it can be, to what Allie was saying earlier, it can be grateful for a feeling, a trinket, a moment, an object, anything that they're thankful for, and put it in the gratitude jar. And it's up to you and your family how you want to share, how and when you want to share everything that everybody is grateful for that's in that jar, whether or not it's at week's end, whether you want to collect them through the month of November and do it on Thanksgiving. But then the idea is that when you designate that time, you as your family sit down, probably around, either it's a meal table or maybe it's gathering in a living space at a certain time, depending on what kind of routines you have with your family. And you go around and you pick out the different pieces of paper and you read off what everybody's thankful for. And that's really what they're grateful for and thankful for. And that's a wonderful way to celebrate moments that people have had in your family throughout that time period, and also give people a voice. Because as I'm going to talk about with the prompts for the evening gratitude, I would imagine in all of our families, we have certain people in our families that have a stronger voice than others, or can tend to talk more, or somebody that tends to stay back. And sharing what everybody's grateful for really helps to encourage everybody's voice in the family. Similarly, with the prompts for the evening gratitude, I have to put my glasses back on. This can be done in different kinds of ways too. You can decide with your family if you would like to do this probably once a week. Maybe you have all 8 prompts that you go around the table, and somebody picks a prompt out of a jar or out of a hat and speaks about the most amazing things that happened today. How did you take care of yourself today? What did you do today that made you happy? I always like the ones that, similar to what Allie was talking about with the rosebud thorn, that also highlights something that might have been difficult, that you might have changed, because I do think that there is a lot of push in our culture now to distract and push away the feelings and push away the bad feelings and avoid the bad feelings. And I think it's really important that we understand and learn how to sit with our feelings that might be uncomfortable and grow from them. So I do think it's important to acknowledge the positives, and like Allie was saying earlier, the growth moments too that can come from things that are a little more difficult. So the 8 prompts for evening gratitude, again, you could, oh, is it, Amy is saying, is it possible to increase the screen? Oh, screen size of the share slides. That's a great question, Amy. Allie, you think we can do that? I'll let Allie see if she can work some magic. If not, we'll definitely be sharing the slide deck.
Yes.
So you can for sure take a look at that after the presentation. So I apologize if these are tough to read. So you can take the prompts and again, decide you're going to do one for that evening. You pick, I'll have all 8 in a basket, pick out one at a time. You can really kind of get your family together, offer up these ideas and see what people are willing to do. And again, I think that these are really great exercises to give everybody a voice in your family and everybody a chance to talk. So I think that we are ready. Oh, somebody else is mentioning in the chat. I think we have a workaround here if it's on your phone. Wonderful. So I'm going to go on to next the growth mindset that I'd mentioned earlier. If we want to go to the next screen.
Perfect.
Thanks, Allie.
Of course.
The growth mindset. So this can be a really positive mindset to have in general, but as well as when we go into situations that might be frustrating, and certainly the holiday season, as we've referred to, can provide a lot of frustration, difficult times, wonderful times, but also difficult times. So if we look at the statements, which I think we can see pretty decently on this slide, for example, let's look at how we might shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So the first statement, somebody might say, I give up. Well, the growth mindset would be, I'll try something different. Like I give up trying to get this Scotch tape unstuck. It's all tangled. I give up. Your growth mindset might be, I'm going to take a step away. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to take a deep breath. Maybe I'll ask my sister if she can help because she has really long nails and she's really good at entangling things. Or maybe I'll grab some scissors. So it's moving into, I can try something different. The fixed mindset, I failed. I failed. It's just, oh, I failed. Okay, that's what's really tough with these fixed mindsets is there's no place to go with that. So the growth mindset might be, mistakes help me learn. And immediately when I see I failed, my mind goes to somebody failed a test. It's kind of probably where a lot of us go. But I think during the holidays, we can also feel like we failed relationship-wise in ways. Like if we fail that in giving somebody a present that they didn't quite like, or letting somebody down because I didn't do something the right way. And I think the growth mindset in mistakes help me learn in relationally is mistakes in disappointing somebody help us understand what we're capable of and what others are capable of and how we feel about that. So it can be, I failed a test, mistakes help me learn, in that I'm going to learn from my mistakes and take a retest and do better. I'll know it better for the final exam. It can also be, I failed in different relationships and how we can learn and grow from that. I'll never be smart is the fixed mindset. The growth mindset would be, I'll learn how to do this. So trying again and trying again. As Carol Dweck says, as I had on the slide prior, a problem is a challenge you choose to accept. So it just hasn't happened yet. I'll learn how to do this. It will take some time. Fixed mindset. I'm no good at this. What's the growth mindset? It's what am I missing? So shifting perspective. I'm no good. Well, there's always some good somewhere. It feels like we are, I keep mentioning culturally and in the world these days, just feels like a polarizing kind of situation that goes on a lot. We can catastrophize, we can generalize, but there's a gray area. So I'm no good at this. Well, what am I missing? How can I find something that actually is a little bit good? Some little nugget I can hold on to, like Allie was referring to. Lots of big changes happen by small, meaningful changes happening first. So the next fixed mindset statement is, this is too hard. The growth mindset might be, this may take some time. This goes back to the empathy and compassion that we need to have for ourselves, not only during this holiday season, as we keep referring to, but in life in general. Slow down. This may take some time. Maybe it's too hard because you're going too fast or your expectations are too high. Shift the perspective. Instead of this is too hard, I'm going to find the patience and the opportunity to work through what's hard. And finally, and there are many fixed mindset statements. These are just some of the really, the more prevalent ones. I can't do this. The growth mindset would be, I don't know how to do this yet. Another one of Carol Dweck's tenets is the power of yet. It just hasn't happened yet. Let's find the possibilities and opportunities and practice the yet. So this fixed to growth mindset is not going to come into your vocabulary overnight. It's great to kind of pepper it in. I think with younger kids and maybe even adults, I'll sometimes mention this to my older clients about the growth mindset and trying to see things, see situations, see statements through that lens. So you are not going to feel like you give up or failed or can't do this yet, because it might just take some time to incorporate it into your family. But nothing changes if nothing changes. So I hope you all can take some of our, I guess that actually segues me, Allie, to concluding thoughts.
Perfect.
Really are so grateful that people were able to take time and slow down and be part of our webinar today. And I know that I'm hopeful that you can take some of the wisdom, practices, perspective that Allie and I have shared, and share it with your family, share it with yourself, and practice the kindness, empathy, gratitude, and compassion that we referred to. And I'll turn it over to Allie for some concluding thoughts as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And as we wrap up today, kind of echoing with what Rebecca said, I just also want to take a moment to thank everyone for also their time and attention. We did cover a lot of ground today, from, again, understanding the science behind gratitude and how it can impact our mental health, as well as to recognizing the sensory and emotional triggers, right, we often face during this holiday season, and how we can manage those triggers with strategies like self-regulation and sensory integration, along with gratitude practice, right? And so we explored a variety of gratitude activities and exercises, from simple practices for our younger children to more reflective activities for our older kids and teens, right? And so these activities are great tools to help bring gratitude into our daily life, strengthening our family connections, and to build resilience during especially those times of stress. And so before we conclude, Rebecca and I would like to practice to end with a practice of gratitude, right? So let's take a moment to reflect on something we're grateful for today. I encourage you to share one thing you're grateful for, either by typing it in the chat if you'd like, or unmuting your microphone and sharing it with the group. And I understand there was also a question in the chat. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the Q&A section in the chat, or you can put it in to send it to everybody if you have any questions. But yes, feel free to end with some practice of gratitude. I invite you all to tell us what you're thankful for. Oh, okay. So I understand that you can't unmute, so feel free to write it in the chat if you're able to. Cooler weather. I love that, Rebecca. Grateful for these awesome webinars, and that I can be reminded of these concepts. So thanks, Kate. That's wonderful. Let's see. Cooler weather. Grateful both of you normalize difficult feelings. Absolutely. Yes. It's important to normalize them.
John is grateful for his smoothie. That's lovely.
Lovely.
Good coffee on a hard morning.
Mm.
One of your building blocks. It's great.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Morning walks with my dogs. Yes. It was a beautiful morning too, a little windy, which is nice, especially for this fall weather. My brother.
Beautiful and smart daughter.
Thanks, Mom. It's very sweet. I'm
Oh,
grateful that you both care so much about this community. Of course. Yeah.
thanks, Kate. Yeah.
It's where I feel like I get my energy. So I'm
Mhm.
grateful for it too.
Mhm.
There's a lot to be grateful for when you reframe that mindset.
Oh, the energy.
Yes. Grateful for the energy we're both exuding. Love that. Warm weather in November and flowers still blooming and late tomatoes on the vine. Ooh,
Yummy.
this must be delicious.
For the automatic iPhone. Yes. See, screens are helpful. Grateful for
They
the
are.
iPhone or Facebook photo memories. Yeah.
My children's sense of humor, they make me laugh a lot. Aw.
Yeah.
I'm noticing Kate's very grateful today. I'm noticing that positive mindset in terms of
Right.
that. It really isn't, it's a lens, truly.
Mhm.
Thinking about what I'm grateful for, there's a lot to think about. John says his grandson, that's very sweet. Yeah, I think I'm just thankful for right now. If we're
Mhm.
gonna think about that, I'm grateful that I'm here and I'm grateful that, yes, that Rebecca and I can be here presenting this to you today.
Yes.
Yes.
Agree. And grateful for everybody that showed up and took time to be here and posting in the chat.
Yes. And that we're able. And so just to say and reiterate, this is a simple but powerful way to wrap up our time together today and to help us all stay connected to what truly matters. No matter how small, practicing gratitude in these moments can truly have a big impact. And so again, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope this season has given you new ideas, tools, and insights to bring gratitude into your homes and families this season. And so with that being said, let's talk about our next webinar. So our next webinar, of course, is free. It's in December 10th at 10 a.m. So it's easy to remember. Don't miss out. So thriving during the holiday season will be followed perspectives on family traditions during stress-filled moments. So we'll have Joe Briggs and Carrie Ross, who are wonderful LMFTAs, and they will be able to share activities and ideas to help your family come together during the holidays. They'll also offer strategies for balancing time off, routine, and structure, and also highlight why breaks, rest, and leisure, our feel-good activities, are so important. They're also occupations, may I add, and provide guidance for navigating challenging family dynamics. So again, stay tuned. You're more than invited to join us on December 10th at 10 a.m. for our free webinar.
There's also a link in the chat that Anne has provided. And you will get an email with the slide deck post our webinar concluding. I think that's it. That's a wrap. Thanks,
That
everyone.
is a wrap.
Enjoy, be safe, be grateful. Have a
Thank
great
you so much,
day.
everyone.
Bye.